this is Shashank Tyagi from Edacademy. This video is important for understanding the demand of UPSC when it comes to polity and governance and prelims. This section commands around 1/4 of the total questions. That's why your approach should be clear-cut and updated. It's time to limit your resource. Some would say that we have already limited our resource. We are reading just one book, Lakshmikant. Apart from Lakshmikant, there have been questions asked from India Yearbook. From India Yearbook, you should refer chapter 2, chapter 3, 20 and 28. Because when it comes to governance part, many times questions are asked directly from initiatives taken by various ministries, schemes, target group or targets. So this material is readily available in your India Yearbook. Selective reading is required. You need not to cram or go through the whole book. Apart from this, NCERT, Introduction of the Constitution and Constitution at Work, two important books. And why I'm saying that? Many times questions are asked on substantial part of equality, constitutional philosophy. So this section is not that much, covered in your Lakshmikant. You need NCERT. So tweak your approach accordingly because every question is important. Consider this question from local governance. And the prime focus is whether you know the core principles of local governance or not. Options are subsidiarity, democratic decentralization, delineation of functions. Generally, our students are aware about these two terms, not this subsidiarity. So at the time, they may think that one or two are correct. But the answer is 1, 2, 3. UPSC can also play by making some statements related to some core principles which are used in our governance. So this kind of content can be covered via a swift and question-oriented reading of specific chapters of second ARC report. Mark my word. Just go through these sections from question approach. When I say question approach, it means when you are reading a page, not just read for understanding purpose. Also, have this in mind that what kind of question can be asked. So while you are reading those summaries, you need not to go through, everything. Just be specific that local governance, you should know the principles, applicability, what are the political institutions which are created on the basis of these principles. This is what is expected from you. When it comes to this chapter of historical background, questions will be direct or aane hai question. So for that, you need to have a mind map. From 1773 Regulation Act to Pitt's India Act to Charter Acts to Council Acts to Government of India Act 1935 to 1947. All principles, I would say, all those provisions which were mentioned in these acts and laid the foundation of administration in India, you should know them. And this can be done easily if you have this in mind that you need not to cram each and every act separately. Read them like you have to, you have to look for a theme or a continuity in between them. So from 1773 Act to Pitt's India Act, when you read them, establish a link. What was the difference? What changed after Pitt's India Act? which was not there in 1773. So this kind of approach is needed because question aana hai. A statement wise question can be asked, and it can be asked in match the following way. Be prepared for both. This is one direct question. It is asked in UPSC prelims. Distribution of parts between center and state inspired from which article? From which act? Government of India Act 1935, where state subject and subject at the center. At the time, state, in place of state, the word provincials was used. So we need to look on these acts in a sense of continuity, not segregation, which is generally done. Then comes salient features of the Constitution. One or two factual questions will be asked, and questions will be asked from schedules or amendments. What does it mean? You should know that anti-defection law is related to which schedule? This is a direct question, a quite easier one. Sometimes UPSC have asked question like which amendment, by which amendment 4 languages were added in 8th schedule. So these kind of factual questions are asked from this section. What should be done? Just go through the table which is available in Lakshmikant, having schedule and its amendments, and your job will be done. If your approach is scattered, not pointed, then you may have this issue. In spite of covering the important sections, you may miss 1 or 2 questions, and that should not be done. That should not happen with you. This is my purpose. That's why I'm making this video. Anti-defection law, 10th schedule. This is one factual question asked in 2014. In 2008, this question was asked, 4 languages were added in 8th schedule. Direct question. When it comes to system of government, questions are mostly conceptual. But within conceptual, I would request some specific approach. Some attention to the words used in question. UPSC can mention this word Indian parliamentary system, features of Indian parliamentary system, and can use the word features of parliamentary system. So there's a difference between the two. When it comes to parliamentary system, if we look at British parliamentary system, it is different from Indian parliamentary system. So you should, be very careful which kind of word is used in the question. What difference UPSC is trying to make in statement. These are some things which, some students overlook, that this should not be done from you, not expected from you. The main advantage of the parliamentary form of government is that. So what do you think? What kind of approach UPSC is expecting? Conceptual clarity. You should know why parliamentary system is made. You should know why India adopted parliamentary system, not presidential system. Answer is, executive remains responsible to the legislature. This is the key feature of parliamentary system and very much beneficial to put accountability over executive. Take a look. A constitutional government is one which, then there are 2 statements. When this question was asked in 2014, many people were confused whether it is B or C. Why people were confused? Because they have conceptual, lack of conceptual clarity when it comes to constitutional government. What do you think the meaning is? Many would say constitutional government means any government run by constitution. Oh, is it? If this is the meaning, then both are correct. That places effective restriction on individual liberty in the interest of state authority. Restriction on individual liberty places effective restriction on authority of the state in the interest of individual liberty. So the idea is whether restrictions are placed on state or on individual liberty. So many would say, yes sir, we have gone through fundamental rights, and there are fundamental rights which put restrictions on individual. Restriction on individual, that means one is correct. Yes sir, we have also read some fundamental rights like Article 15, 16. We have read articles like 21, 22, 20. They put some kind of restriction on the authority of state, right to life and personal liberty. The state cannot go beyond a particular line. Line mein rehna padega. That means who is also correct. If you think the meaning of constitutional government is government run by constitution, but that is not the correct meaning. That is not the idea on which the concept of constitutional government was made. The idea of constitutional government was that when there is a constitution on which government will run, then this government will have some restrictions. This government won't be able to intervene in the personal life of the people, of the subjects. That was the idea, basic idea, the basic concept behind this word behind this word constitutional government. So now the time is over where if you're cramming your Lakshmikant, you will be scoring well in this polity part. The time has gone. Now UPSC demands conceptual clarity, analysis and application along with current interlinkage. It may sound a lot, but it is not. With the right approach, everything is interlinked. It will go swift. When it comes to preamble, just have these 5 points in mind, and you will be able to crack every question which is asked on preamble. You can take a look on past 10 years questions which are asked from preamble. In prelims, I'm saying. Constituents and components, keywords in the preamble, significance of the preamble, importance kya hai preamble ki. Preamble is a part of constitution. There is a debate. There were Supreme Court judgments over it. Whether preamble is part of constitution or not. Amendability of preamble. Amend ho sakta hai ki nahi ho sakta. Whether preamble can be amended or not. So when I'm saying this, that these 5 points, with these 5 points, your approach would be complete. If you are going to attempt your prelims this year, you have gone through your Lakshmikant, you attempted some test series, then also please relook whether all the relevant points are coming into your mind as of now or not. Khat, 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 khat. Dimag mein aa jane chahiye. If you are at this stage, it means you are on right track. If not, don't worry. You know the approach, get it done. DPSPs, there are 4 points. Nature-based, provision-based, applied kind, amendment. What is the nature of DPSP? Provisions of DPSP. What are the provisions? UPSC has asked question that which of the following provisions are mentioned in DPSP. So you should know the provisions. Applied kind. You should understand, you should know what acts have been enacted by Parliament by having DPSPs in the backdrop. Is right to education, Article 21A, fundamental rights, has connection to DPSP? If yes, what article? What was the change? If the way DPSP was enshrined, the way this DPSP was enshrined with regard to this education, was this act was made along the same line, same language, or there was some change? You should know that. What were the amendments which are made until now with regard to DPSP? This should be your approach. Let's have some question. इससे देखते हैं, समझते हैं. With reference to the Constitution of India, DPSP constitute limitations upon 2017. It was asked in prelims. Legislative function और executive function. एक तो होता है गलत और एक तो होता है सरासर कैटेगरी का गलत. ये सरासर कैटेगरी का गलत है. यूपीएससी उलझाना चाह रही है, यूपीएससी आपसे फिरकी ले रही है. Limitations upon? How can DPSP have limitation on legislative and executive function? DPSPs are ideal. Ideals. DPSP are not justifiable. So ideals are some ideas which we ought to do. Ideals cannot restrict us. At least in the scheme of our constitution, as present in the scheme of constitution. Answer was neither. So if someone is cramming Lakshmikant, the provisions of DPSP and not understanding the applied kind, this question was from applied part. Do you think that person would be able to crack this question? No. That's why I'm saying your approach should be pinpointed. This is needed. Yes, and we know this. Then just go confidently in prelims. Nobody can stop you then. According to the Constitution of India, which of the following are fundamental for the governance? This was the key phrase, fundamental for the governance. If someone has just, read the type of, rights given in Constitution, provisions of DPSP, then this question might confuse that person. Person might think, fundamental for the governance. And what does this mean? What is the meaning of governance? Oh, if government is functioning, if government is connecting to the people via political institutions, schemes, okay, that is governance. What is needed? Fundamental right is needed. Fundamental right is needed. Yes. It is needed. Oh, there's an option, fundamental rights and duties. This seems more closer to the answer. Some people might think, fundamental right के बिना चल सकता है क्या government? नहीं चल सकता. ये तो आएगा ही आएगा. But the answer was C, DPSP. It is very clearly enshrined in Constitution that DPSPs are fundamental for the governance. This particular phrase is used with DPSP. Now UPSC wants to check whether you have read the provisions or not. In earlier question, UPSC was checking your applied part. Here UPSC was checking whether you have read the provisions or not. ऐसा तो नहीं कि superficial knowledge लेकर चल रहे हैं. This is what UPSC demand. Fundamental duties, mostly nature-based questions and provision-based questions. Means you should read what kind of fundamental duties are there and what are its nature. Also, if there is a law which was made along the line of fundamental duty, then you should know that law. Like flag code. You should know the debate regarding flag code. How this flag code was made. What are its provisions? UPSC might ask that. Even if that is not mentioned in part 4A. So that should be our approach. If you are running along this line, you will complete the race with flying colors. Fundamental rights. Among the most important section, 4 questions can be asked. And mostly conceptual. Don't limit yourself to the provisions. You should have conceptual understanding of fundamental rights. If there's Article 14, you should know equality before law, equal protection of law. You should know the difference between the provisions. You should know, or you should also know, the debate surrounding fundamental rights which was in news. The current linkage of fundamental rights part is very much important. Which of the following statements are correct? Now look at these 4 options. Here UPSC is not asking this question to check whether you have read part 3 or not. UPSC just wants to know whether you know the meaning of this concept rights or not. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि फंडामेंटल राइट्स प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं और राइट्स की हवा नहीं है. And UPSC has this beauty that UPSC will try to confuse you between two statements. Sometimes question is quite easy, but statement become tough. Those who have given prelims, they will know. And they might be having a slight smile on their faces. सही पकड़े हैं. So rights are claims to the citizens against the state. So what approach I'm trying to give here is, whenever you are entering into the domain of polity, master the basic words. If you are taking lecture from someone, don't just listen what this person is teaching. Don't just listen that, okay, these are fundamental rights, these are mentioned in this. These kind of questions have been asked. You should understand why this word fundamental is used here. What is the conception of rights? What is this difference between legal right, constitutional right, fundamental right, human right, natural right? You should keep questioning. So the learning in this question is, don't skip the basic word. Read about them, ask about them, and your journey will be easy. Amendments. Important amendments. List is given, Lakshmikant, go through that list. If you ask, so do we need to read all the amendments until now? Not necessary. Only those amendments should be mastered, the provisions should be mastered. Those which are in news from, say, past 1 year. We should know about those amendments. And you would say, sir, those amendment means only those amendments would be in news ना, जो अभी हुए हैं. ऐसा नहीं. Sometimes some polity current is linked to some past amendment. So preparing current of polity becomes much easier because this current affair is linked to the core concepts. Question either asked directly the changes done by amendment or some concept which is associated with it. So only those which are connected to the present changes. When it comes to constitutional and non-constitutional bodies, just remember this strategy. Have 2 A4 size papers, not more than that, 1 and 2. Divide this A4 sheet into 6 sections, front and back. And now you need to prepare footnotes, keywords. Just mention election commission, constitutional body election commission. What is the composition of election commission? What is the eligibility, if there is? How they are appointed, how they are removed, why they were in news. Just keywords mentioned here. Next come UPSC. Composition, provision, eligibility, appointment, removed, how they are removed, and if they were in news, some keywords. Just keywords. You need not to make notes in these sheets. One for constitutional bodies, another for non-constitutional bodies. Your job will be done. Because many times students are confused. Sir, maximum is 65 years. Kisme thi? It was in UPSC or NHRC? Who were the member of this selection committee of this NHRC members? So students confuse in this. So when you have all these bodies and their keywords in one place and you are going through them, there are less chances that you will confuse. You will get confused. You will not get confused, and you will, take the question point blank. So this question was asked, Attorney General of India, take part in the proceedings of Lok Sabha, be a member of Lok Sabha, speak in Lok Sabha, vote in Lok Sabha. Sarasar galat. Answer was 1, 2, 3. The thing is, when you are going through these bodies, many times some keywords are what is the requirement for cracking this prelims question. So have this thing in mind, make these practice, and your job will be done. So that is all for now. Let me know the areas which you think are difficult for you in polity. I will make them simple for you. That's my promise. See you some next time. Shashank Tyagi signing off. Take care. Keep learning. Keep growing.